Fuck you, Hannah.
Yeah, fuck you, Hannah.
All right.
I hate Hannah.
I've always hated Hannah.
Hello, and welcome to Way Too Broad, a place for friends to talk about things that they're really, really ridiculously excited about. I almost did the old intro.
That would have been terrible.
Almost as terrible as being cold while you're podcasting. I'm Hannah. Let's get that out of the way. And these are my co-hosts, Erin and Ben. Hi, Erin.
Hey, Hannah. Did you light the podcast candle?
I did.
Okay. Hi, Ben.
Hello.
Hey, Ben.
Do you light a podcast candle because you're worried about getting cold and you're like, any source of heat that I can contribute to this situation is going to be good?
No. I light the podcast candle because I record in the same room where the litter box also is.
Oh, that's a fun fact.
Fun fact. So instead of smelling cat poop, I decide I want to smell pomelo and pine.
It's much better.
Yeah. Okay, I want to catch our listeners up. I've noticed how much I say briefly, and now I'm very sensitive about it. But
you do?
To myself I do. So I want to catch our listeners up.
Not briefly, like extremely longly.
With not being cold. So I run really hot. It's just like my body, like I tend to be either comfortable or warm, as Erin observed before we started recording. But for some reason, like literally the first thing I do when I come home almost every day is I take off everything but the like lowest layer of clothing I'm wearing. So like I'll usually wear like a tank top and then a shirt over it and then maybe like a third layer on top of that. And the first thing I do is I take off both of those either that top layer, those top two layers down to like my tank top and take my pants off, obviously, and just walk around in like my tank top and my underwear. But the moment that I need to start getting ready to do any kind of podcast recording, I throw a sweatshirt on.
Bundle up!
I put my pants back on, I put on slippers, and I bring a blanket. I have a blanket on my lap every time we're podcasting.
Oh my god, this is more serious than I thought. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling so cozy.
That's really interesting. So you like to cozy up.
I like to be cozy. I feel like it needs to be a cozy corner. Like, I wouldn't like to hear someone's teeth chattering while they were recording a podcast.
Is this like more of a like you want to have a sense of coziness, or you're like dressing yourself and you're like, gosh, I hope I'm not cold today for recording the podcast?
I'm specifically worried about being cold.
This is really fascinating. I'm loving this.
If I'm being honest. But what is everybody drinking?
The huge.
I was waiting for Ben to say water.
Yeah, I got
what are you
big
drinking,
ass
Erin?
bottle of water.
I'm drinking a half-calf coffee. Here's a in this fun mug. It's like a weird mug.
That mug looks like it's for pouring half and half out of.
It's really not. It wouldn't be good for that. It would get half and half everywhere.
It's for pouring half calf out of.
But and it's really not good for that either. And it's really not good for drinking out of. It's decorative and fun. And it's not good for cleaning. And it's actually got a dog hair in it. So, but I liked it.
Wow.
I'm drinking. Oh,
no, that's all.
Is that it?
Yep, that's all.
I'm drinking an Ian Special.
Ooh.
It's he said it's a gimlet, but he ran out of like lime juice, so it's like half lime and half grapefruit juice.
Oh, cool.
What's a gimlet?
I don't know. What's a gimlet?
Isn't it like gin and powdered sugar?
Ooh,
and lime?
That sounds good.
It sounds like that. What this tastes like,
and then you
except
could do
also with grapefruit.
A vodka gimlet. A vodka gimlet.
I just don't understand why anything would make a drink with vodka when you could make it with gin.
I like dirty martinis with vodka. But Molly likes them
Gin.
with gin. I'm not a huge fan of gin. It's a strong flavor. You have to understand.
Gin martinis,
At least
though.
it's not a shit flavor like vodka, am I right?
Vodka, like, just some really good quality vodka is sweet, which is really nice. Just gin, you have to be in the mood for gin, I find.
I'm
It's
always in the
just...
mood.
I don't. I have to be... The mood that I have to be in to want vodka is I'm in a college dorm, and I'm college age.
Such haters.
And no offense, Ben. And I all I have is a bottle of soda and a huge handle of Rubinoff. But I know what you're saying about. Do you have a preferred brand of vodka?
There's like an Icelandic kind that's really nice, good quality. But I just love like a really nice drink if I'm like at a wedding or at a bar. is a vodka, a really, really dirty vodka martini. I just love it. Because the vodka kind of takes a back seat and you just get that really nice salty brine flavor, I think. And you're not just drinking a big old cup of gin, because that's like all you can taste when you have something with gin in it.
Not if it's dirty.
There's the gin.
The dirty gin martini is the same experience as far as I'm concerned. It's just a salty, delicious
like,
adventure.
Some salty gin. Molly loves a super dirty gin martini.
I think we've bonded over that before.
Yeah.
Guys. I should have mentioned this just like much sooner. It's our 30th episode this week.
Holy shit.
Fuck.
Yes. Welcome to our 30s.
Welcome to our 30s
podcasting.
episode.
Weow.
What's that from?
Home.
Oh, yeah, you told me that.
movies.
Yeah, weow.
Did you say weow?
Yeah. I have to tell you guys, I don't have to.
Please don't.
I'd love your permission to tell you guys a story.
I love this consent. Permission granted.
Please.
Yeah, permission granted.
Beam me up, Scotty.
Okay, this is like kind of like when we used to do terminology in, but it's not a word. It's a story, just a little snippet from my life. So Ian's my husband. Just for any new listeners, he's been kind of doing more like for the first time in his like, you know, professional life, he's been doing like more kind of work from home or like work for yourself type of things, like self-motivated things. So like there are days when he gets a whole lot done and he's like really excited, and there are other days when he doesn't feel like he got enough done and he'll be like a little bit bummed out or whatever, because that's like kind of the nature of having to be like self-motivated in this way. I could honestly never do it like without the structure of like you go to work, you come home, and you don't work. Like I don't.
Same.
Yeah.
I'd be like, but when do I work though?
Yeah. Right. Like I'm home, and that's where the fun stuff is. So I'll just do that. Is that you pay me and I'll just do that. Is that cool? No. So like he was like having kind of one of his like more like bumming out days, and I came home and I was like laying on the couch and doing not work. I was just like I was blowing raspberries into my arm. That's what I was doing.
That's not work.
It's not. I don't get paid for it.
Okay.
I know some people do.
You could probably film yourself and somebody would pay you for that. I'm just saying. It's vast and internet out there.
It's true. So he was in the kitchen, and he was like he just like called over from there, and he was like, so I was feeling like kind of like bummed out about, you know, like my day, like not feeling productive, but then I was just standing here in the kitchen watching you blow raspberries into your arm for a full 3 minutes, and I thought to myself, we're our own special kinds of adults.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
You guys are a good match for each other.
Yeah.
You lift each other up.
Something.
That's a weird answer.
Were you were surely like processing something in your brain. You were probably thinking something over. You weren't just blowing raspberries.
I bet she wasn't.
I was. What I was processing was, like, how do I make the best fart noise with my heart?
Did you get a good angle, though?
Yeah.
I'd ask you, but you're all bundled up.
Yeah, I got a big old sweatshirt on, so I don't get cold.
A bagel sweatshirt? Is that, like, where the hole in the middle is missing? Is that just, like, sleeves and a...
Obviously not, Erin.
Yeah, I'm sorry. That's my bad.
It's a regular type sweatshirt.
Regular variety. Speaking of bagels, headed to New York City in the morning.
Oh, yeah, already. That's right.
Yeah, pretty excited. I'm not excited because it's, 10 p.m. now. We're going to end this at 10:30. I haven't packed yet. We have to leave our house at 5 a.m.
Oh,
but
geez.
It's going to be fun. I'm seeing a cousin get married. I'm going to see you, Hannah.
Mm-hmm.
Again. Can't get enough of that on Saturday. So that's going to be awesome.
Yes. I'm excited about that. You have to take pictures at the ceremony.
Okay.
Because I bet it's going to be really pretty.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about it. My first time in New York City. Kind of a
really?
whirlwind. Yeah, kind of a whirlwind. Not all of us live in the North, Ben. Can't just go to New York City. Also, it's been really cold here. I know, not as cold as it's been there. And today it was like high of like 73, which is really nice. But tomorrow it's going to be in the 80s, right as we're flying up north. You know, it's sad, Hannah, is that you're not going to see Molly again. You and Ian are going to miss Molly completely again.
I know.
Because she's flying up with me Friday, but then on Thursday, tomorrow. Right now, this time once. And it has to fly back Friday morning.
Yeah.
She was like, oh yeah, I'm getting bees on Saturday. She's like, there are like bees being delivered to her, and apparently you need to be home for that, so.
Yeah. People won't just leave bees on your doorstep. What kind of world do we live in?
I've got bees.
There's like, if no one's home to sign for them, they just like let them go, I guess. I don't know.
That's so... I've got bees. The good news is...
I want bees.
What's that from?
Tim and Eric.
Yeah. Sorry, we're making references Erin doesn't get again.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
We're allowed.
You are allowed. You're just not allowed to make me feel like you came up with that joke, and then I'm like, ha, ha, ha. And then you're like, no, we're referencing something that you're just not actually understanding.
Definitely
guilty
a really
of good crank call. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. I have another upfront thing. We should probably jump in pretty quickly because of Erin's how she's getting up at 5 a.m. thing. But I just wanted to mention yellow rice is really great. I love it. So this is just a little upfront thing.
What?
Yellow rice, yellow rice, like you get with like Mexican food.
Oh,
like yellow rice.
Is this another joke
yellow?
I'm not getting?
No, it's so good. I love it. It's just really good.
Yellow rice. Is this something you've recently cooked at home?
Yeah, we made it tonight.
Cool.
And
why is it yellow?
It's got
saffron?
Yeah, I think so. And
oh, really?
Yes. And our mom,
it's probably a spice that's pretty hard to find in Boston.
I don't know if you remember this, Ben, but Mom used to make every once in a while with dinner just a big bowl of this yellow rice, and it was like one of the instant rice things, and I loved it so much, especially once it got cold, that I was hankering for it tonight, and I called her specifically to ask her what brand she bought, and she did not get back to me, so I had to guess. And I did, but it was really good.
You could have called me. Okay. She bought me a bag of that when she bought me groceries the other day.
Oh, really? What brand is it?
Do you want me to go get it?
No, I just
nobody in this family will tell her what brand it is.
So fucked up, you guys.
They met behind your back and they were like, Y'all, if Hannah ever asks about this brand, just pretend like you're gonna tell her and never do. She can't know. She can't ever know. Just swear never ever to tell her.
Because here's why. Because there were never... I never allowed there to be leftovers of this rice, because we would all have our servings of it, and then there'd be like, an eighth of a bowl left in there, and I would just like sneak right back up to the table and eat the rest of that bowl of rice.
So you tiptoeing to the table that I heard?
Yeah, it was. That was.
We could always hear her because she would go doot 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 as she was stealing the rice.
She was actually tiptoeing across a giant piano on the floor.
Yeah. So just a shout out to yellow rice. It's really good.
All right, shout out.
Yep.
I'll try that. That sounds like a great side. Oh man, you know what? I'm gonna shout out
What?
our motherfucking pierogis. Who doesn't like a pierogi?
I love pierogis.
Who on
I
this
don't know what
God's
that
green
is.
earth? Here's what it is. Molly had. I almost wrote it down. I really wish I had. I was like eating a pierogi and shaking my head in pure bliss. And I said to Molly, you know what? I fucking love pierogis. And she's like, who doesn't love pierogis? They're a pasta pouch filled with potatoes. She said it in a really beautiful way. It's like a delicious pasta.
Yeah.
It's like a ravioli, but instead of a cheesy filling inside is like a cheesy fucking potato.
It's so good.
Like mashed potatoes?
Like a mashed fucking potato.
Oh, that sounds so
All
good.
Up but even saltier. I would say saltier than a mashed potato.
Yeah.
Like a
And
very
guess what
salty.
else? It's not even over yet, Ben. You serve them with sour cream.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't like
fucking
sour
put
cream.
Well, you don't have to. You can
Excuse
serve them
you.
with applesauce. You can serve them with red sauce. You can serve
Applesauce?
them. You can serve them plain. Like, we had them as a side. I want to give pierogis a big fucking shout out tonight.
Fucking shout out to pierogis and shout out to sour cream. Fuck you, Ben.
Shout out to
Yeah.
Como for literally nuzzling my face right now.
Oh, shout out to Como. You know what? Sometimes we'll use Greek yogurt as sour cream, and it's a great. You could just use it.
We did that this very night.
Oh,
Wow. This very night.
that's great. I love doing that. It's just a great because then when I'm eating Greek yogurt, I'm like, I feel like I'm eating sour cream right now,
Yes.
and I love that.
I would do that. I would.
Everybody wants to. Nobody says it. I want to eat big bowls of sour cream.
Hey, can I do
we
a quick
start a
check
movement?
on what
Hashtag.
time you guys are at in the recording?
Yeah, 18:35.
Okay, cool.
Hashtag say it. Hashtag say sour cream.
Too soon.
Okay. Erin, you're up first.
I'm up first, but it wasn't it. I thought Ben was last week. Was I last week?
It's not how. That's not
Oh,
how it
it's
works.
not the first. It's the middle. Is it right? Because it's a pop and a shift. I'm so sorry. Okay, I know this.
Shift and a pop.
Okay, well, okay. I have had a very, very busy and long week, so I don't have a thing except. Well, this thing isn't. I do have a thing. Oh my god, I'm just saying, Aaron Brown. Okay, let me start again. This thing is not something that I'm necessarily currently obsessed with this week. It's something that I'm like always super fucking into.
Got it.
And have just kind of kept it in the back pocket because some weeks I'm like really into it, and I was like, oh, this would be a great obsession, except I always have something else. But
I
here,
have one of those too.
yeah. So this is like my on, backup, always on lock obsession, and it is Tiny Desk Concerts.
Oh,
nice.
yes.
NPR Tiny Desk Concerts. I love Tiny Desk Concerts. That's like my. It might be my number one YouTube jam. Like, you know, if I'm like, I think a lot of the times when I work from home, I'll have a constant stream of Tiny Desk Concerts up and kind of like keep them in the background and then peek in, you know, because it's not something I would feel comfortable like out in my big open fishbowl office space, like looking like I'm watching YouTube videos all day when I'm really just listening to music. But I found some really fantastic artists that way. It sounds like you two totally know what I'm talking about.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Awesome. So maybe I'll just say a few of my favorite artists that I've seen on Tiny Desk, and I would love to hear some of y'all's as well. Also, a shout out to, there is a, I think it's an unofficial playlist on Spotify, but it's called Tiny Desk Concert, and it has that little image. It looks it looks legit, but it's like a 217 song long playlist of like the best of NPR Tiny Desk Concerts, and it's got like as many of the songs that are available on that the artist played on the Tiny Desk concert. So I've discovered some like this artist. Have you guys seen Tosh Sultana's Tiny Desk concert?
I have not.
No.
Oh, it's so good. She's a really impressive artist. She, it's really, so her style it's just her. She's like a one-woman band. She's got these dreadlocks, and she's like really tan and has a ton of tattoos, and is just gorgeous. And she like slays, she like shreds on the guitar. She's like so good. And she starts out with like, you know, a simple, you know, little ditty on the guitar. That's the word I'm looking for. Like a, you know, just like a little, yeah. She starts out with a Hannah Tiptoe, but then she like loops. She has a loop pedal, and she like loops,
nice.
And then she'll play a guitar riff. Riff is the word I'm looking for. And then she'll like layer on another one that's maybe in harmony or complementing, and then another one, and then she'll like add in like a drum machine beat, and she just has this like, she like builds this whole beautiful like orchestra of music before she starts singing, which Dominic, my little brother, had the most hilarious comment about. I'm playing him this Tiny Desk concert. We play each other like different Tiny Desk concerts he loves, and he's like, this is like when those restaurants have that like make the guacamole at the table thing.
Wow.
It's so true.
Like
Table-side guacamole.
Yeah, you just see every layer.
Dominic is so
You're
fucking
like-
funny.
Witness it. He's so funny. You're like witnessing every piece of it as it happens. So anyway, she has a couple songs, or she does a few songs. Her songs are really long. But anyway, she's coming to Raleigh. So I like first found out about her because it like popped up on my endless Tiny Desk concert feed. And she's like selling out shows all across the country, and she's coming to Raleigh, and we bought tickets. Bought one for Dominic too for his birthday.
Oh, nice.
Some other ones I really love. One I think that got me thinking about this for my obsession was have you guys seen the Tank and the Bangas?
No.
Oh my god. So they won, you know how they have like the Tiny Desk contest?
I didn't know they had that.
Yeah, I think for 3 years now they've had like a contest where you film yourself or your band playing your original songs, and there has to be like a desk in the video, and then they pick their favorite one, and then you get to perform a Tiny Desk concert.
Oh, that's awesome.
Cool.
Yeah, and they've all been so great. And this one won, I think 2007, or maybe 2006. And I would really, if you take away anything out of this, watch their Tiny Desk concert performance. It's like I almost chose that one as my full obsession, because it's just, this band is unique and just so delightful. They come out of New Orleans, and their music is just so wonderful. And this is one of those. Tank is, I think, the middle name of like the main person, and I think she might write all the music. They very obviously collaborate a lot, but she is one of those people, Hannah, you know, I'm always just like, Janelle Monáe, such an artist.
Yeah.
She's another, like, she's such an artist. And by the by, I have been just so deep into Janelle Monáe as well.
So great.
And also realizing that I was like, I've never heard of her. And then I was listening to her music. I was like, she should be more famous. Why isn't she so famous? And I was like, she is really famous, actually. Janelle Monáe. It's like everybody has heard of her. My mom was like, oh yeah, I love Janelle Monáe. Molly was like, yeah, I've used to listen to Janelle Monáe a lot.
Yeah, it just somehow skipped all three of us. So
I know.
like, we just like missed that moment in the
I know.
cultural.
And they were like, she should be so much more famous. And I'm like, oh, she really is.
robbed.
She's been nominated for like 5 Grammys. And we've been like, I don't know where the fuck we've been. I would love to see her have a. So anyway, Tank and the Bangas. The first song takes a while to get into, but it gives you a really good feel of their style. And then the second song, which is called Quick, is phenomenal. So check that out.
Okay.
Just a few more that I'm thinking of. Aroura was another one that I love that Tiny Desk concert.
Okay.
So she's I think she's, what is she, Swedish or something? I'm sorry if she's not Swedish. But she is an artist. She's just, and her Tiny Desk concert is just like so raw and like vulnerable, and just her songs are so good. And I'm just doing a quick, but then like Rufus Wainwright has a Tiny Desk concert that I loved. Roar's on this playlist. That might be. I just love him. I watch him all the time.
I'm now realizing that I don't think I've watched one in 8 years.
Holy cow.
Because I just looked up except for Chance the Rappers, I watched Chance the Rappers. But
Oh, yeah.
I remember when the three that immediately popped in my head that I used to, watch all the time was Kanon, the Avett Brothers, and Edward Sharpe and the Magnetic Zeros.
Oh, I haven't seen that one.
the Avett Brothers was the one that came to mind for me.
Yeah. And Kanon's is really good, too. That was, how I got into Kanon.
I haven't heard of them, but I will watch your Tiny Desk concert.
Kanon's a rapper. He's just one guy.
Oh, okay.
He did that song Wavin' Flag it was the official song of the World Cup a couple years ago.
Oh, cool. Sorry.
Oh, well, I was thinking, my relationship to Tiny Desk concerts, I've always thought that they were cool and a cool concept, but I don't think I've ever discovered a new artist through them, because I tend to only, I will see a thing that's like, oh, an artist that I like did a Tiny Desk concert, and I'll be like, oh, I should watch that, and then I'll watch it. But
oh, sorry.
Jesus Christ.
I think a theme you might notice for my favorites were, I use it to find, I love watching, women Tiny Desk concerts. I use it to find, my next favorite, I love it. I'll especially watch it if it looks like it's just, a woman doing, playing music. I'm, really interested in, that sort of, finding that next good, soulful... Julian Baker is another one that I loved, and I might have discovered her on Tiny Desk. She has 2, and they're both really great.
Where do they do them? Is it
in New York?
Is it in New York?
Also, you know who has a really good one? St. Vincent has one, and it's just her and her guitar. Her and her acoustic guitar.
Neat.
Yeah.
Have you seen Dessa's?
Yeah, Dessa has a really good one.
That was confusing for me, because the first time I ever saw her was on the cover of her album Chime, where she has short blonde hair, and then and her face is all blurry, so you can't really see it. So then when her Tiny Desk concert was her with long dark hair, and also another woman was there, but she also had long dark hair. I was not sure which one was her at all.
Oh, gotcha. The one doing raps out their mouth.
Yeah. I did some facial analysis later, and I figured it out.
It's a complete disguise for her. You could be someone else if you just dye your hair. But I don't only watch women ones. I saw a rapper one that I really liked, that I can't remember his name. What's his face?
Yeah, you don't watch women ones, but you only remember the names of the women.
T-Pain. T-Pain did one. That was great. I really I especially love the rapper ones, because they are just it's so stripped down and just so much more vulnerable. I just love it.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Anyway, that's all.
I need to just let them autoplay like that sometimes.
Yeah.
Discover some stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Good segment, Erin.
Oh man, there was another one. Oh man, what was it? They were so good. It was it wasn't Me Mommy or something. It was
Umami.
I don't. Oh, My Bubba. It wasn't me, mommy. It was my Bubba. That's another really good one.
Okay, my Bubba. It was Maddie?
Yeah. We call my big brother Bubba. Well, I don't actually. It started with my little kids, but...
Your little kids?
My little brother and sister. There's many more. I watch them all the time. I love them. Okay. The end.
They're... check them out. NPR does them. They're good.
NPR does them. And check out that playlist on Spotify. If you're into that. Feeling into that.
Sorry, I'm drinking alcohol. Cool. That's a great one. Very enriching and fun and good.
Well, thanks, Hannah, for that.
Baby Ben,
Yeah.
it's your turn.
Baby Ben, it's you.
So I also had a really busy week. This is the week my senior design project is due.
Oh, dang.
And we actually just finished it tonight,
Ooh.
Wow.
which is really exciting.
Congrats.
So I've been working on that. I've been getting home at 9 or 10 every night. Haven't really had time for my own obsession, so I'm shamelessly stealing Kylie's. Because it's something that... It's an anime that she's been watching that I kind of come and go on. I watch with her when I'm around. And it's called Chihayafuru.
How you spell that?
Chihaya is Chihaya, and Furu is Furu, and then it's one word. I don't know why I spelled it like it was two.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Well, actually, no, I did. It's because the main character's name is Chihaya. So we heard of it. We heard of this anime because there's this YouTuber named ProZD. His real name's Sungwon Cho, and he's a voice actor. You might have seen some of his videos because he does these really 15 to 20 second long short videos that are really funny that sometimes go viral on Twitter every now and again.
You're viral on Twitter.
Your mom is.
And he has on his
She's
YouTube
so cool.
on his YouTube he did a video about his 5 favorite anime, and this was his favorite, and it was really surprising because it's an anime about this Japanese game called Karata, which is going to sound weird when I describe it, and it's not going to sound like anything that you'd want to watch. So I'm selling it really well. But this is exactly what he did too, and it got us interested. So it's this game where basically you play against another person, and you each have 25 cards in front of you that are verses of poetry. They're always from the same set of 100, and you take out 50, and each of you get 25 on each of your side. And then a third person reads a verse of poetry, and the first person, and when you hear, when you figure out what verse they're saying, you hit that card out, and your goal is to to lose all of your cards first on your side. And if you hit a card on your opponent's side, then you get to take a card from your side and give it to them, and to have to put on their side. So it's really odd sounding.
Interesting.
But it's like a real game, and it's really intense. And the whole idea is that the main character Chihaya is really, really good because she has really amazing hearing to the point where she can hear how the reader breathes before their syllable, and so sometimes she can hear what syllable they're going to say before anyone else possibly could. But she also has confidence problems and stuff, and the reason it's so good, despite being about such an odd game, is that all 5 or 6 of the main characters are just really compelling. There's a lot of really nice what's the word?
Anime?
Comedic? This is a regular term that I cannot think of.
Chemistry?
No.
Kimono?
Comedic relief? Is that the word? Is that how you say that? Is it comedy? Comic relief. Jesus
moments
fuck.
of comic relief.
Yes, God. Really could not get that on my fucking head.
Wait, is it a comic or is it an anime? Make up your mind.
You are so burnt.
You fucking got me. I don't know. Apparently, like, I haven't watched any sports anime before, but it's a pretty popular genre, and apparently Chihayafuru is like, it feels a lot like a sports anime. Like, you'd be really surprised how intense they can make a game about slapping poetry.
So let me make sure I'm up on these rules. So you have like 25 verses of poetry.
Yep.
Stanzas, if you will. And you're kind of like keeping them all in your brain. You're like,
yeah, you have to see
flat
before
on
a
the table
game
in front
starts.
of
You get 15 minutes to memorize the locations of everything.
On your side and your opponent's side.
Yep.
I see. And so it's basically like they start reading it and you're like, oh, I remember, I think this was over here.
Yep. And that's the other thing is it's the same set of 100 poems every time. And so one of the characters, whose name is Taichi, his like thing, he's like the top of the class at their high school, and also he can remember, he like knows every card that's been read over the course of a game. So, and he also knows like all the cards that are still available to be read.
Oh, so
and that's
it's like
how he
card
wins a lot of
counting
time.
or whatever.
Yeah, kind of.
And if you say one of those poems in front of him, he'll slap you just on instinct.
It's also like there's a surprising amount of strategy to it, and it's really interesting to see like how each of the characters sees the cards, if that makes sense, because they all kind of like different cards stand out to them. Like there's this one card that it's what the name of the anime comes from, that's like starts with Chihayafuru, and that's like Chihaya's best card because it has her name in it. And there's like a weird thing where like if there's a card that has like a sound that sounds like your name at the beginning of it, you're supposed to be like, you kind of supposed to take ownership of that. Like that's supposed to be a really good card for you. Mm-hmm. And so if she hears like even the hint of that first syllable, she like always gets it. Huh. Kylie says it's like educated Egyptian war.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, it is actually really similar to that, and the same kind of, but it's
also memory. The verses are face down.
No, they're face up.
Oh, okay.
But it's like you have to be really quick, so you need to like
25's
you don't have time to look for it. You have to just like hear the thing and know where you need to hit.
Yeah. This is a real game in Japan?
Yeah, and we've watched a little bit of like people actually playing it. And
is it played professionally in Japan?
So there's not like, I don't think you can like get by being a professional Karuta player, but there are, the way it works is there's a king and a queen at any given time, and the king is like the best male player in the world, the queen is the best female player in the world, which is weird because everything else about the game is co-ed. Like all the tournaments are co-ed, but for whatever reason they split the two best players into male and female.
That is weird.
Yeah, it's odd. But so like, and when there's a master match like that, like when there's someone that challenges the queen to try and take that spot, it's like a big deal in Japan. Apparently it's just starting to actually spread worldwide, which I don't really understand because it's a really old game and all the poems are really old. Poems.
I just assumed my internet had lagged.
Apparently, Karuta means 100 poets.
Oh.
And that's what...
Does everybody play it in Japanese? Like, if you're playing it in another country,
I was wondering that. I don't know. Because it seems like... Part of what's so interesting about it is that, like... a lot of the verses have, like, the same kind of starting syllables in Japanese. Whereas like in English, I feel like a lot of them would end up starting the same anyway because we start a lot of phrases with articles, and there aren't articles in Japanese. Like there wouldn't be thes and a at the beginning of things.
I know what an article is. No, I'm kidding. I mean, I'm not kidding. It'd just be like, well, roses are red. like that, or are they poems like,
obscure poems?
Yeah. Or would they be like common, I guess, like pithy sayings, or are they like serious sonnets or whatever?
I think they're mostly love poems. I really don't know, though. You know what's interesting about, like, when they talk about them, the people that are, like, really good at karate, they often don't talk about the content of the poem itself. They talk about, like, the first syllable that you hear that can distinguish it as definitely that card. If that makes sense. Like, talk about it a lot of in terms of syllables. Like, they'll sometimes call cards one-syllable cards because it means that there's no other card available anymore that starts with that syllable, so you know right away when you hear that syllable that card's being read.
Interesting.
They don't actually talk about what that syllable really means a lot of the time, or what the whole poem really means. And that's actually one of the characters. Her name is Kana. She's really into... She got into the club, the like karate club at the school, because she loves ancient poetry and like ancient... it's not really ancient, but like more traditional life in general. Like her family owns a traditional clothing store, and she also only agreed to join if they all wore traditional kimonos or traditional dress like during tournaments. And so she got in because she loved the literature part of it. So there's like, you get to kind of see that perspective of it a lot as well, as opposed to like people who are only in it, who are in it for the like competitive game of it,
Sonnets to slap to.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. That's what it's called in
cool.
English.
And I want to watch it. That's the anime or the sport.
The sport, I think.
I think you could make a challenging deck for this in English, because
Kylie
as
wants
long
me
as
to
you
correct
weren't...
something also.
Oh, what's that?
She told me that karate meant 100 poets, and then she said it doesn't. It comes from the Portuguese word carta.
Meaning card?
I'm guessing so.
Well, that's extremely less interesting.
That's
it
like...
is.
I don't even... Kylie, I'm really disappointed in you.
Also, she wants me to make sure I explain something more about what the reader does at the game.
Okay. Well, let me finish my thought
go ahead
first. So, I think if you were picking 100 poems at random, it probably wouldn't be a great game. But if you were picking poems, with purpose, and like you were picking ones that had like that maybe did have similar words at the front of them, because the thing that's interesting about like I'm thinking about things that I've read or heard about trying to make computers sound like they're speaking natural English, and how it's really hard because we don't really realize how differently we pronounce words based on the next word that's coming up. So I bet that there is some training of your ear that you could do with English to try to determine within the first word or two of a verse that was very similar to another one, which one you were hearing. Yeah,
like if the roses are red versus roses stink. I think I said roses in the exact same way both times, but
that's a thing that happens, that the really good players can turn multi-syllable cards into one-syllable cards based on how the reader reads the first syllable. That's like a thing that like the masters. That's what separates the really, really good players from the good players.
What was Kylie's second correction?
She wanted me to give a little more detail on how like the reader works. So they always read the first verse that they read at the beginning of a game is always the same, and then they read the card that they pick up, and then before the next card they read that previous card again, and then they give it like a beat, and the rhythm of it's actually really important, because like people get like really primed and ready for it, and it can throw you off a lot if the rhythm's wrong. So like to be a reader, you have to be a really good player.
Interesting.
But the reader can't win, right?
No, they're not playing. They're just reading.
But you have to be a good player in order to be a good reader. They're not playing at the time, but sometimes when they do play, they should be good at it.
But if they're a good player, why aren't they playing?
Because you can't play all the time, Hannah. You gotta give back a little bit sometimes.
I don't understand.
Sometimes it's like if you were to be teaching somebody how to do fart noises on their arm, you would have to stop and let them do it.
On my arm?
I don't know how you do. I'm not in Hannah's apprenticeship program for arm farts.
Oh my god. She wants me to clarify again.
Oh my god.
I don't even fucking...
My god.
Apparently, they read the first verse of the poem, and then the players slap on the second verse.
Okay. Tell Kylie that in Japanese, her name means should have fact-checked that really interesting fact about the card game name before we got excited about it.
Yeah. I've heard that. Are you gonna tell her? We're waiting.
Well, we could tell her.
I'm not going to tell her.
Does she listen to the podcast?
The podcast. I think she does.
Was I asking you? Why would I ask that to you two and assume, Hannah, that I was asking you that question? And not Ben, the person that she lives with and talks to every day, all the day.
I'm really good at answering questions, so why shouldn't I answer questions all the time? Ben, what's the answer?
What's your face?
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well.
Fucking got you.
Yeah, burnt.
I got.
That's cool. That sounds like, you were like, this game doesn't sound very interesting, but it's all we've been talking about. It sounds super interesting.
Yeah.
I think it is really cool.
Yeah.
I thought it was going to be like a apples to apples, where you, like, make a poem with some poems, But this one's really interesting, too. I don't know why I didn't assume that you'd be slapping them instead.
I would argue it's more interesting than that.
I learned something from Kylie frantically messaging me about this.
What?
That I didn't understand about the game that I was trying to sell you on this whole time.
Okay.
The reason they have to, like... Because before you really start playing, you have to memorize all 100 poems. And that's because the reader reads the first verse of the poem, and what's on the cards in front of you is the second verse. And you have to slap based on hearing the first verse.
You started describing this as knowing nothing about it.
It's true. I'm not denying that.
Wow,
So
that's a much more difficult game.
Yeah, that's really fucking hard.
Who checks it? How do you know if you've done it then?
There are judges, and if usually the players will agree. But if there's like a dispute, they can call judges over to settle it.
Are you allowed to slap at any point, or do you have to wait until the first verse is totally complete?
You're allowed to slap at any point because it's whoever gets there fastest.
Okay.
You can also slap as many cards out as there's no rule that you have to only slap one card out because they're all close to each other. So sometimes you slap like a bunch out, and there's actually a strategy where if you only have a few cards left, to put them all on one side of you and then just slap all of them every card because you can do it faster.
What if you slap the right card and then you take your hand off it and you slap one of the wrong cards?
It doesn't matter as long as it gets hit out. It doesn't matter which one you touched.
Wow, I gotta watch this.
It's wild.
This is crazy.
Yeah, so I'm confused and intrigued, which is my normal state. I don't think I told you guys that did I tell you I started reading The Wicked and the Divine?
Oh, you did?
What's that?
It's a graphic novel that Kylie recommended to me.
Oh, cool.
Or I don't know is it a graphic novel? It's not very, it's very serialized. I got the first one, and the next two are on their way to me, and it's quite good. Just thinking about like Kylie related things. And also, I learned a ton about Japan from that museum visit that we made.
Murakami exhibit?
That was so neat.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know, Erin, that like we're all like, oh my gosh, the Japanese, they're so wacky. how do they get like that? It's because it's like a like highly valued sort of element of their culture, and it has been like through basically their entire history, going back all the way to like early creation myths in Japan.
To be wacky
And silly, and like
Yep.
it really like appreciate and recognize the like silly side of life and stuff.
That's really cool.
And
Yeah.
like cuteness in general.
Yes, cuteness in
Yeah.
general also.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
really nice.
It's really neat. There's so many cultures in this world.
I
And
was
why-
wondering how they got so wacky.
I always wondered that.
I was wondering that.
That's why they call me anthropology. Because
No, I was wondering that during tonight's discussion. I was like, those Japanese folks, they're so wacky. How'd they get so wacky?
that's why I thought of it. Because I was like, now I understand how they got so wacky.
Yeah, they value it.
Yeah,
That's great.
that's great. Great segment, Ben.
Oh,
Slash
Thanks,
Kylie.
Ben.
I
Great
need
segment,
to-
Kylie.
Yeah,
Apologize to
pretty
Kylie and the general public for messing up explaining it 3 or 4 times.
I really hope somebody who's listening to your segment listens to the whole thing. That's all I have to say about that.
And I'm sorry, Kylie, about that time that I did the thing that you always yell at Ben for doing, and then I made a rush job to try to fix it. You know what I'm on about.
What?
The thing where I was like, shout outs to Kylie, but I didn't actually say that.
All right.
Um,
Actual shout outs to Kylie.
actual shout outs to Kylie. Cool.
Hannah,
Yeah.
your turn.
It
I
is
just
my turn.
realized you're always the one telling us, and I thought I would do you the liberty.
Thank you for doing me the liberty. My obsession, I've already briefly talked about before, but it deserves its own segment because it really super cheered me up. I did sort of say sex segment accidentally, but
Is it yellow rice?
no.
Is it a pine and pomegranate candle?
No, I haven't talked about
pomelo?
it. I haven't talked about it this episode, but I've talked about it before. It's Gill and Gilbert, the after hours silly stream on Polygon.com. Let me tell you guys why I like this. I've already described to you sort of what it is.
Tell me wait.
Nothing but something.
I know I've already told you what it is, so I'm not going to harp on it too much, but like just a general outline is that these two guys who work at Polygon named Pat Gill and Brian David Gilbert, they stream an hour of some kind of game, and they do some silly twist on that game while they're playing it that is often somewhat punishing to them. Like today they played Far Cry 5, which just came out yesterday, and they were trying to be stealthy, and anytime that they were noticed by anybody, they had to put a green piece of paper, like tape it onto their body. And the reason that they had to do that was because they sit in front of a green screen when they do these things. And so behind them, when they went into a certain camera view, was an embarrassing photo of them from their childhood or from their youth. And the more they fucked up in the game, the more easily you could see the character.
That's
them
really funny.
picture of
That's
them
really
behind
funny.
them. And then this is a segment which I talked a lot about last time, is how they like cover when they have to do like load screens and stuff in the game, but it's like basically just like rapid fire like improv in between sections, and it's extremely fun. And I have had also a very busy, somewhat stressful week, and they like super cheered me up today and super cheer me up on many Wednesday evenings lately. And also I think I've gotten like a super double dose of them recently because they did actually a stream on Friday and then a stream on Wednesday. So I really enjoy what they're putting out there. And it is like the weirdest thing on Polygon, but it's also like a great encapsulation of what I like about them. It's like they don't take themselves too seriously, but they do take like the internal rules that they make up for themselves very seriously. And
I really like that kind of thing a lot.
yeah. You do or I do?
I do.
Yeah.
You
Also
do
you.
too.
Yes, that's true. And they and they're also just like they're just not They're there's also like this great community element to it. Like last time, they did a bunch of like watercolor paintings, and they were encouraging people to draw along with them. And then every time that they do like the following week, they'll show like any fan art that happened during the stream, or that they got sent during the stream, like on Twitter and stuff. And like they had so many. They had like hundreds and hundreds and hundreds to put up on the screen. Like all you could see was like they put them up in front of their faces, and you could just see one of their like eyes, and you could see the mouth of the other guy. And and then if things get like too rote in the games, they'll also just like make up random restrictions for themselves. Like they were like clearing the levels too quickly, so they decided that they could only use throwables, which in Far Cry means basically like bats and hose and shovels. So like it's not like things that blow up. So like they were just trying to like bean people in the head with bats, and doing a really bad job of it. And I just love them. They're just fun. They're just good boys.
I like Patrick Gill on Twitter a lot.
Yes, he's great on Twitter. He even tweets about his dreams sometimes.
Hey,
yeah,
that's perfect for your other podcast, So Dreamy.
Yes, So Dreamy. We talk about dreams.
Is this something that like I can watch all the episodes like on YouTube?
Yes, it's all on YouTube.
That's all. That's where it is.
That's where it is. That's where it lives.
PUBG, remind me, they're like a video game company.
PUBG is a video game. Period.
Oh, I'm sorry. They work at Polygon. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My brain has done too much today. It really just needs to stop.
Polygon, yes. Polygon is is the video game journalism arm of Vox Media. But they just have like a real enjoyable, silly side, and I enjoy a lot of their content. But this, as you guys well know, but this is the one that has been tickling me the most lately. And also, I will say this: Ian is a fan of Polygon, but not as big a fan as I am. But he was like audibly chuckling many, many times during this stream this week, which is unusual for him just in general, like period in his life. Like a lot of times when he's laughing, it's silent. So, so it's high praise from him. But yeah, you can watch him. You can watch him on YouTube, on Polygon's YouTube channel, and they're really easy to spot because they do the whole thing with like this rainbow background behind it. So if you look through their video feed, I'll also post a link when I put
Will
this episode
you?
out. Yeah, I will.
Good.
Erin?
I was just asking if you will. Oh, will you?
One of my favorite things that Pat Gill said on Twitter was that he learned what's it called? Wild World on guitar by Cat Stevens, just so he could play for his cat. Ooh, Charlie, Charlie, you're my fat son.
Oh my god, last week. Oh my god. Another thing I like about Polygon is how many people that work there have cats. But like last week during the stream, Brian revealed that he also has a cat, and that cat was having like 13 teeth removed that day because it was a senior cat, and so it had like some like dental issues. And then Pat was like, me too. My cat only has 2 teeth left.
Oh my god.
When he was a senior. And I was like, oh my god, I'm watching these 2 boys who care for 2 senior cats that have most of their teeth gone.
These are your people.
They're my people. They're sweet as heck. I like them.
They're sweet as frickin' heck. I'll tell you what. Oh, I'll tell you what.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds nice.
It's nice. It was a very YouTube-centric episode. Where do you watch your little
Slappity
anime
poet.
then?
Slappity the poem.
Where do you watch the Poem Slaps show?
Where do you watch your poetry slam?
I simply don't know where Kylie watches it.
Oh my god, you came unprepared. You're busy. You're a busy boy. You're a busy boy. You're doing great, Ben. You're a great busy boy.
You're a great busy boy.
I think it's called otakustream.tv.
What is it called?
Otakustream.tv.
Okay, that's not what I heard.
Yeah, that's this looks right.
I heard like Bukaka stream, so
Yeah, it's called Bukake stream.
Don't Google that. Jesus Christ, don't Google that.
Nobody Google it.
No, just go to bukakestream.tv. You don't need to Google it. Just...
Don't go there. I just imagine for some reason it never occurred to me, but just a sweet older person who's listening in, who maybe doesn't know us, who's just like, I'm just listening to these kids and they have all these really neat hobbies and I just like to hear about their little hobbies, and I just picture her just going there on the internet and then just being just betrayed by us. Well, these nice kids, they just have these great hobbies.
Listen, thank you.
Check out all their programs.
Thank you for your support, imaginary stranger, but just don't trust Ben. That's all we're warning you.
I'm very trustworthy.
Well, then where should they go, Ben?
otakustream.tv. That was a struggle to decide which one I was going to say.
Yeah, well, good boy won out, so.
Great job.
Oh, my God. Are we closing up? Because I need to say something before we close up.
We're closing up shop.
Because remember we talked last week about how you and I are chaotic good, and Erin is lawful good, and Ian's lawful good?
Yeah.
Our mother is the most chaotic good
Yeah.
person I've ever met in my life.
Yeah.
She came up, her and Dad came up to Boston for dinner on like Saturday, and we were talking about how she's like realized that as an like middle-aged short white woman, she can like get away with whatever she wants. And like during the blizzard, when there was like one pocket of Plymouth that still had power, and so she went to a Panera Bread there to charge her phone, and it was like all full. Mm-hmm. And she instead decided to go to a hotel across the street and just wait in the lobby. And one of the like people at the counter came, because they were super busy, and one of the people came up and was like, "Are you looking for a room?" And she just lied and was like, "Oh no, I'm just waiting for someone," and sat like with her Switch and phone charging behind her chair, just like using electricity, sat there for a few hours and left.
Okay, yes. I learned everything I know from Mom, and can I tell you that it's so funny that you mentioned hotels, because this is such an amazing example of what it's like to have a marriage between a chaotic good and a lawful good personality. When we're on road trips or when we're traveling any distance and I really have to pee and I'm really fucking sick of, actually even just at the beginning of the road trip, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, my like newest trick,
I pee when I want.
yeah, and where I want, my newest trick is that I will just find the nearest like mid-level hotel and just walk in through the lobby like I know where I'm going, and find where the public bathrooms are and use them.
Oh, hell yeah.
They're always clean. They're always empty. Like nobody's like, I'm not hurting a soul by doing this. And everyone assumes you're either staying there or you're like, there's like always like a little cafe. Like they don't care. They're not
Right,
like,
they don't care.
They're not guarding it. But it makes Ian so deeply uncomfortable that if he's with me, like it just can't be done. Like if I'm gonna try to pull that shit when he's in the car, like he'll literally just stay in the car. Like
I would stay in the car. Yeah. Gas stations, I'm fine with peeing and not buying anything, and like don't be a gas station. Like, that's where I'm gonna poop, right? But, like, a hotel is just, I don't know, it's just outside of
It's a public restroom.
You're totally right. I'm not arguing. I don't think it's morally or legally wrong in any way. It's just, like, a little, like, more on the, like, socially uncomfortable for me.
Also, like, I was thinking about her, when I was in the store recently, because we were talking about, like, eating, like, popcorn chicken and just walking around and eating it, or, like, for me, I do it with like protein bars sometimes. I mean, I used to. I don't do that anymore. But but Mom used to do that with like bulk packs of anything that was a snack. Do you remember that? And it would be like because I remember I used to get nervous about it, because we'd be walking around doing our shopping, and she would like have opened up a box of something she was gonna buy and be eating. And I would be like, Mom, like, isn't
Absolutely.
that stealing? And she'd be like, I'm gonna buy it, it's fine. And now I totally do that.
I'll do that if I then buy it.
Really?
Sure, I'll like drink a drink in the store before I buy it, but I always buy it.
That is like technically,
it's not stealing.
It's stealing. It's like.
Let me ask you something. If you drive away with a car, that's not yours, but then you go back and buy it later, did you not steal the car initially?
Right.
I mean, that's a false equivalency, and you know it. I'm not gonna leave the fucking premise and then come back and pay for it.
Okay,
that's true. Actually,
I'm
I think
still
you have
in the
to,
zone.
You haven't technically stolen something until you leave the store.
I'm in
that's a good
but
point.
I would
zone.
argue that it's a little different with food or drink items because it's not like you can put it back after it's in your tum-tum. At least not in a way they can still make money off of.
Well, you can't, and if you do put it back and don't pay for it, then you're stealing. But you're not stealing until you leave the premise. You're not stealing, you're just locking yourself in, and there's nothing wrong with that. Unless you're eating something by weight, that you pay for by weight, and then you're stealing.
Right.
Like if you eat some of that hot bar before you pay for it, stealing. But I don't think it's like a major crime or a moral outrage. It's just literally stealing. I'm not here for a moral debate. It's just like literally stealing, and it's okay if you feel like you have some wiggle room in there, whatever. But just like it's literally stealing. So.
You are right that until you leave the premises, because
you're in the zone.
We used to not when I did work retail. We were not allowed to like accuse anybody who we saw shoplifting of anything, even if we blatantly saw them take it. Like the strongest thing that we could do were like what they called recovery statements, which is like a lot of times, like all the time, the stuff was like buy two get one free. So if they like picked up one thing that was on a promo, you could walk up to them and be like, if you grab two more of those, you could get one for free. So
I saw you.
Yeah. But like,
wow.
Then if they chose to leave, you couldn't literally couldn't even call the cops until they walked out the door.
Right, because if you accidentally like pick up a soap and put it in your pocket with the intention to buy it,
which I do that too.
That's not stealing. That's not stealing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right? It's only when you walk out the zone.
The zone, right. It's all about what zone you're in.
It's all about your zone.
I just have to tell you one other little detail. I've been removing layers since about halfway through this episode of clothing. So all my fears were for nothing.
Erin, what's your homework? My homework is, oh my gosh, just check out these NPR Tiny Desk Concerts. There's so many different genres. There's so many different artists. There's so many different like places in their careers. Just a treasure trove of really nice music and a great atmosphere to be had and listened to. You can find your new favorite artist right now on NPR Tiny Desk Concert.
That was beautiful.
My Twitter is @ErinByrne. I mostly like progressive liberal tweets concerning the support of gun control and regulation. I review lesbian movies at LesbianMovieReviews on Instagram. Check it out.
Yep. Ben, what's your homework?
My homework is to watch Chihayafuru on otakustream.tv. It's a really good show, even though I did a bad job of describing a lot of it.
You did a fine job. It was not
Thank
great,
you.
but it got there. It got there in the
I'm
end.
confident that Kylie would have done it better, but I'm still interested in watching
Absolutely, she would have.
Shout out to Kylie.
it. Shout out to
Yeah.
Kylie.
My Twitter is NEDiscoGreg. I posted a picture of Como while we were recording this because he was being cute and sitting right next to the computer. So check that out.
Nice. My homework is what did I even go to youtube.com/Polygon, and you can look at all their videos on there and look for something that's of a topic you're interested in and watch it, and it's great. And if you don't see anything you're interested in, look for Gill and Gilbert. The one this week was streamed on March 28th, and it's super fun and funny and good,
Well, it's
even
Monster
if you don't
Factory.
really care about video games. Monster Factory is, I think, like every other week or something, but it's been a little bit spotty lately. But watch any Monster Factory from ever. They're all really fun. And my Twitter is at Hanthropology. And I don't know what I tweet about. Mostly nothing. I retweet episodes of podcasts that I'm in. Speaking of which, I have another podcast, or ear snack, called So Dreamy, which is a dream podcast, as the name might imply. We talk about, we listen to dream submissions. We listen to our own dreams. We talk about like dreams and sleep disturbances and stuff, and also a lot of other random things. And if you want to reach out to us, you can tweet at our ear snack Twitter, which is Too Broad Pod, TOO Broad Pod. You can also email us at waytoobroad@gmail.com, and you can join our Facebook group. And you can also leave us a review on iTunes. That would be cool. And then I think that's it. We don't have any emails. I did check.
We still have to extinguish the podcast candle, though.
Oh, fuck. Okay, hang on.
Oh. We still have to break the podcast candle.
The podcast candle is extinguished.
Bye.